Tell me about AI content. So if you have video content and someone wants to add music to it and they're not generating it via AI, there's some issues there, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that would just fall under the same issues that currently exist with non-AI generated video. It would be a song that's not licensed. There's actually more of a concern, I think, right now with the converse, generative music.
Yeah. It's legitimate music that could be used in certain situations. There's a lot of pushback on it, but does it matter to you? How it's written, generated, produced?
No, I mean, on one hand, I think generative music is really exciting. I think it's pretty impressive what can be done. I get the question quite often, is this going to completely upend the music industry? Is this going to destroy sync licensing, for example, when anyone creating a video can say, I want it to sound like, two cowboys riding off into the sunset and with a Neil Young aesthetic or something, and get a song that's reasonably good sounding and put it to their video. I like to keep an optimistic perspective on this. I think that right now we're in a very frothy AI market where people are trying things and experiencing things for the first time. Every new model that comes out is more impressive than the last, generates these like viral moments. You've got fake bands that are breaking the internet right now. I'm saying, oh my gosh, everything was fake. The photos, the bios, the music, wow, incredible. Real bands are dead. I really don't believe that's going to be the case. I think AI music is going to really stress the production library world, because production libraries have kind of been created to create an easier music solution than licensing a famous song. So in many cases, I think the royalty-free and production music landscape is going to go through an upheaval. But as more supply enters the market of AI-generated stuff, and when anyone can make anything, I think it's going to actually add more value to the authentic artist-generated music or artist-produced music that is tied to human beings that have cultural capital, right? So I think it comes down to the communities that you're building online, the connection to your fan base, the work that you're doing on the road. All of these things as an artist are building that authentic connection. The actual recorded music is just a piece of that. So to say that, well, now because all of this music over here is being produced to prompt, is going to completely destroy this music over here that's being produced traditionally, I really don't think that's a fair comparison, because this music over here is like a vessel to further the relationship with a real person. And so as it relates to sync, we have seen some really interesting case studies that have been done by brands and advertising agencies who have A/B tested AI music and production music ads against, ads that are paired with bands or artists. And in so many cases, the emotional equity that is generated in that for that brand or for that product as a result of the ad with the real artist performs better. So on a purely data analysis, empirical basis, there's evidence to show that people connect with stuff that's real still. So I really don't think it's going to destroy the music industry. I think it's going to challenge a lot of existing models out there. And it will certainly be a new competitor in the overall market for music.
See, I think the best thing an artist can do right now is leave mistakes in because it shows they're human,
Yeah. Like a wrong note in the verse, like, okay, this has got to be real. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Do you have a product for songwriters and artists?
Not as of today. We are a business to business platform currently. So because we've taken on a really challenging area, it was really important to us to slowly and very thoughtfully scale with solving problems for first the companies that are doing this professionally every day and still encountering massive issues. And once that was established, to then expand the net to artists and songwriters to be included in that vision. So the next step for us is, and this is actually happening very soon, as a matter of fact, is to extend a type of account on Chordal to artists and songwriters that is limited in scope. So it's not a full, set up your catalog and pitch and license type product. But if you are connected to a work or recording on the platform, you have a seat at the table for how you can approve and sign off digitally on syncs. And so that data that is going to be coming through those accounts is going to be super valuable and helpful for like labels and publishers, because right now that's a huge pain point for them trying to expedite their syncs. So it's this really crazy machinery behind the scenes. Whenever a sync happens, we've talked a little bit about it already, but you have a label who gets an opportunity and they're like, ooh, this seems like a good one. Now we need to ask the artist for their approval or ask the manager, wait, where do I find their contact? Oh, wait, I need to go into the original contract in some database somewhere to see like who we need to ask for what. All of that is going to be captured digitally, and that's going to speed up a ton.
What's your background?
I was originally a film composer. Yeah, so I went to school for classical music and focused in film. I got out of school and was cobbling together a musician's income. I was touring in a band, working on experimental music, scoring documentaries. And a couple years out of school, I got really fortunate that a friend who had gotten into the publishing industry reached out to me and asked if I wanted to get involved in Synch. And that was actually something that I had not really been exposed to before. I was actually shocked that in my 4-year fancy university degree, they didn't teach us anything about this really important way that artists can make money as composers. And if you're not a pop star, for example. And so long story short, I got pretty lucky to have landed some significant syncs pretty early on and right away, and was really impressed with the economic outcome from that, having been a broke musician. And so that sort of set me down the path. A couple years into that, I co-founded a licensing agency with my friend and partner, and we started representing other composers as well. So in addition to myself and his work, we started representing others, and then grew it quite successfully in the entertainment space for about 10 years. And then we were just doing the job the long way so much, and we had seen so many colleagues in the space saying the similar things about their issues they were encountering, that we thought we would take a stab at doing a tech solution. And just, it was a fortuitous coincidence, we crossed paths with a development firm that had been building a music platform already. And we pitched our idea to them. This is back in 2018. And they were really excited and into it. And we combined forces, and that became the new company, Chordal. And so we were very, very lucky. It's quite unheard of as a new startup to essentially get 8 full-time engineers in-house right away. So it allowed us to build very aggressively and quickly, and something that is, quite ambitious in scope.
How has it changed from when you first started?
I would say that we've pretty much stayed the course from the beginning on our long-term roadmap, which I'm proud of. It's quite easy in startup life, in tech, to get distracted by bright, shiny objects. You have all of these buzzy things that come up, and then you have everyone telling you, hey, in order to get venture capital interest, you need to go be Web3 now, or you need to go add NFTs to your product or whatever. And I'm sure from hosting your podcast, there's so many waves of trends that come through every industry, really. But of course, in the entertainment business, there's this thing of like, well, this is the new thing, and everyone runs over here. We've done a very good job, I'd say, of staying the course. The challenges for us have been, and this is probably something we underestimated, were more around the narrative with these large enterprises, like the time it takes with a big company to change the way of thinking and methodology is extremely protracted, extremely long. It's like to get the Titanic to turn an inch to the left, you need about 5,000 miles of lead time.
Yeah.
And so that has been one of the biggest learning experiences for me, is just, I call it group therapy. It's like you have to go into these companies and sit with the teams so often and with so many different stakeholders, and sell an idea that doesn't exist yet in its fully formed way. And luckily, I think we're coming out the other side of that now. But if you would have asked me that in 2023, maybe I would have been like, oh boy, this is intense. Yeah.